welcome back to Always Touring. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Sam. Today, in this episode, we're going to be going through our 2010 Isuzu D-Max, which has 335,000 kilometres on it. And we'll be doing a walkthrough from the front to the back to reveal the cost of how much it takes to be able to get a touring vehicle to go around Australia with all of the modifications on it, and reveal the exact price that we've spent that's currently on the car, not including the replacement parts, but the labour and stuff as well involved.
And at the end of the video, we will be telling you our surprise new vehicle that unfortunately we will be replacing Dave the D-Max with.
Yes, I'm very excited to showcase to you guys. We have got everything confirmed, everything in the making, so stay tuned.
Don't forget, guys, if you are enjoying the content, flick us a subscribe. We are creating videos every 2 weeks for you guys to watch. Plus, we have discount codes at some of the biggest companies around Australia, including iTech World, Undercover Australia, Salty Captain, using the discount code Always Touring, and even our own quality merch for you guys to wear when you are out touring.
Well, unfortunately, this is actually going to be our last walkthrough video of this D-Max. I know we've released a couple in the past couple months doing the walkthrough of everything that we've done to the vehicle itself, but in particular, we wanted to showcase you the pricing of all this, because a lot of people, before they start their lap or start their adventures when they're traveling in their four-wheel drives and things like that, they don't take into account how much it actually costs and what you actually need to be able to get off-grid, have a good time, and be comfortable. So we wanted to put together, from our perspective, just a really honest, laid down review as to how much everything has cost us for the setup that we've currently got on the D-Max, because obviously over the years we have changed a lot of parts and replaced a lot of things. Rooftop tents, 12-volt systems, and as you do, replacing a lot of spare parts and stuff along the way.
Yeah, even as well, a bit of the cost on what it actually takes to get this done with the manual labour to it. I know Samuel took the time to do a lot of this himself. But we'll be going over the prices of that as well, and things that we've replaced in the past when we were traveling around Australia. For those that haven't been to our channel before, we have a 2010 Isuzu D-Max with a 4JJ1 engine.
Yes, that was very good. So everything on the D-Max that we've bought it, so we bought it at around 120,000 kilometers, completely unchanged. The D-Max itself, despite the normal bushes and wearing parts, is all the same engine through to the driveline. The only thing we've done is the tune to the engine. Now, starting off with the base model of this car, we bought it for $10,000 off my old man, completely stock. The only things that it had done to it was a silver nudge bar that was one of the first things that I took off it. It's an LS model, so it's not the top of the range. I believe it's the mid-range to lower range. I think there was only 2 models that came out at this time. Now let's jump into the price of all the modifications that we've done to the D-Max itself. We have an extensive list here, and I haven't even added it up to how much it's all cost, because there is going to be a big number at the end of this, a lot more than what you would expect, particularly when you buy a fairly cheap, I got it for a really good price, a $10,000 start car. And I really want you guys to think throughout this episode how much you should be spending on a four-wheel drive pre-modifications, and see how much money you really think you should be spending altogether by the end of your build. Now, a lot of these prices, they're all going to include the exact figures at the time in around 2019, 2020, when I did all the modifications to it, some with labor and some without labor. Some of them, obviously, I didn't put on myself. The bull bar, some of the big accessory items, but in the last 18 months since starting this YouTube channel, I've done a lot of the modifications myself, which has probably saved me about $8,000 or $9,000 in labor.
Yeah, fair amount. So starting at the very front of the car, we do have an Ironman bull bar with scrub bars and side steps. Initially, we lost our side steps when we were at Cape York.
Yep, and then we had to replace those. So those were the originals.
They were our originals.
And then we put all that on. So in total, that cost us around $4,500. Including the labor that it was done at Ironman. Originally, we just had the bull bar, then we had that scenario, and then we decided to upgrade and get the full kit because it was cheaper rather than getting a custom-made sidebar for it. Next on the front, we have the steady spotlights. They come in around $900, including labor and fitting. We got those about 3 years ago. And then the trusty King's winch, which was $400, and we got that put on at the same time as the bull bar. So unsure of what the exact labor cost that was to get in. That was followed by the Ironman underbody protection, which is straight from the front, about halfway back to the rear of the car. In total, about $850.
We've also got 2 recovery points at the front of the car, which was about $750 for them to be put on, but they are quite crucial because if you have no recovery points, you're on your own.
Yeah, or you can be like my old man who decided to get one, and I can't wait to hit up Cape York in July and he gets stuck on that side and we can't get to the recovery point. That'll be interesting.
Okay, so we've also got some CSA rims, which were about $1,200 to be put on. The full tyres, obviously, and then our tyres as well have the Mickey Thompson.
We do have the Mickey Thompson.
We do have the
all-terrains.
Mickey Thompson's all-terrains, which have gone pretty well. We have only just recently got a split in those, but they were $1,600 for those. We're still trying out our tyres though to see kind of what we favour in the market.
Yeah, definitely. We're trying to change it up every time. Not sure what we're going to be going on to next. Then we're talking about the suspension setup on this. So the best that we could get is a 50mm lift with a 400 kilo constant leaf spring with greasable shackles. Been through different brands, but we just put it around $2,900 to get the Bilsteins in the front, included with the shackles, in the rear, the 400 kilo leaf springs, and the greasable shackles. Torsion bar setup, so that adjusts the height of it, so that included getting the torsion bars put on as well. They're the originals. We haven't changed them because we have been told just through like Facebook pages that keeping the original torsion bars and not changing them, they're actually stronger than the aftermarket ones, and it's been the case.
Yeah.
335,000 Ks on the original torsion bars, no sag and no dramas on that. And you'll notice on the front that we have the plastic TJM snorkel. Originally we went to get the Fabulous Fabrications stainless steel snorkel on there. They sent us the wrong one at the time. They gave us the 2012 model. 2 weeks before we left for our Australia trip, they went to cut into the side guard and then realised that it was the wrong part, so we had to quickly put on a TJM plastic snorkel, and that set us back about $700. Really good at Fabulous Fabrications. They actually refunded us the entire money, so it didn't end up costing us $700. So we can write that one off and just say $700 to fit a snorkel. Usually in today's market, you're looking around $900 to $1,000. Make sure that it is not a raised air intake and it is fully sealed.
And then we've got 2 GME aerials, which were about $500. Now, you do not need the 2 aerials. My lovely husband here believes he needed the 2 aerials.
I just wanted that for cosmetic lookups. Now, including the actual GME box in the front, you're probably looking about $800 or $900 for that. It did come with the vehicle. My old man had a handy-down from my grandfather, and I've kept it in there since, and all I've done is change the power board circuit in there, so it's actually putting out the 5 watts. Now, moving on to the engine tune in the engine bay, 2 things we have done to it. We've done a dyno tune, cost us $1,200. Huge difference, would highly recommend. And then moving on to the single ARB air compressor was $420, and we probably add an extra $80 to get that fitted in. All you had to do was move the computer forward and place that in.
And we had a single air compressor, not the dual one, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, which I
say that.
do. And as well, on the top of the vehicle, we have a top oak rooftop tent, which is about 4K in total. And look, it's one of my favorite hard shell rooftop tents that I've actually come across, especially. Do not go the soft shell. I find that is just...
Oh, that was so annoying. It was bloody comfortable.
It was great, but just...
the hard shells, I mean, at the time, there was no hard shells available on the market, right? Unless you're paying 10 plus grand.
That is true. But I feel like over periods of time as well, that canvas stretches out and it's just not good for longevity of it at all.
Then moving on to the side, so obviously you can see behind me, we have the 2.5 metre by 2.5 metre ARB awning, and that set us back around $650. I remember buying it for about $400, and then we went to get it replaced about a year and a half ago, and they had upped the price significantly, which was a fair bit as well. Then going around onto the side, onto the canopy. So originally they came with the slides rather than the lift up windows. First thing we did was replace those so we had access to the back. To get the canopy windows replaced, it was around $800.
And we had to make sure we had locks on those as well, especially while you're traveling. You want to be able to completely lock up your vehicle. We've also got some rock lights on top of the vehicle, which were approximately about $300. And then we've got 4 Max Tracks with mounts for $700. I think the mounts are definitely worth it. We used to have to take it off from the bin bag, and it was just such a hassle when you need to get access to them.
Yep.
So definitely worth getting the mounts for them, so it's a quick on and off when you need to access your tracks.
Yeah, so Max Tracks also offer a more expensive one. They're about $520. I think they're the extremes, and they come with those removable studs. I don't think it's worth it. You're not really using your Max Tracks all the time unless you're really stuck, and if you do it properly without spinning the wheels, they'll last for years. So I actually really highly recommend the Max Tracks, obviously not sponsored, just purely based at the fact if you're going off-road all the time, you want reliable gear without spending too much money. Now, on the back, we've got the MCC rear bar with the actual swing, so it's got the rear tyre holder, jerry can holder, and the gas holder fitted. That seems to set us back about $3,000. And then we've got the custom-made ladder holder that sits on the back of that we got done at a local fabrication shop, and that set us back about $300. Obviously, with the new rooftop tent, we can put the ladder in there now. So we actually put in...
now holding our fire pit instead, which is great for easy access. And then as well, if you've seen one of our previous videos, our bin bag filter pits. So now we've got the new Explore Life bin bag, which was about $200. It's already got the hard shell shape inside, which does actually you do need it way on road, because otherwise all your rubbish just goes everywhere.
Yeah. And then moving on to underneath that, so obviously we pulled that rear tire out, put it on the rear bar. We've got a water tank with a water pump, which cost us about $450. El Cheapo from eBay, works great. Replaced it about a month ago. Some of the parts just went to Reese Plumbing. Sent me back about $28 to replace those. Did that all myself. And then whilst we're underneath, we've got the long range fuel tank, which set us back about $1,100. 129 litres, I believe it is, or 119 litres, upgraded from around that 70 litre tank. Highly recommend. And then whilst we're on the rear bar, we've got the brake controller, red arc, and an Anderson plug, and that cost us around $400.
Right. So now inside the vehicle.
I thought we'd sit in our relevant spots, given what we usually do when we're touring. I'm in the driver's seat and you're in there, except for the last episode when you actually went and did some four-wheel driving.
I know it was a little bit of a different change, but I did it. So maybe I might be the new driver from now on.
So sitting at the front here, we're just going to go through the big modifications. Everyone does little things like adding little nets and storage bags and things like that, but we'll go across some of the more expensive ones. So our navigation system that we use is the past 3 years, which hadn't let us down until about 3 months ago, and we haven't replaced really anything
Yeah,
since.
we had the HEMA mapping system.
Yeah, the HX1.
And the HX1. Now we're looking at, that was at...
Yeah, $699.
Yeah,
at the time from ARB.
$699 at the time, but that was quite a few years ago. But now instead we're looking at replacing that with an iPad, just with the HEMA map, as that broke on us and it just became super unreliable.
And you can put like apps and stuff like that
Yeah,
on it as
and
well,
that way you
different
can
ones.
have other apps with the iPad. We found as well with the HEMA, with the off-road navigation, it was great. But then any other normal street navigation you wanted to do would send you, the longest route possible. So we had a lot of errors with that. So.
And then moving on to the front here, we've just got the quad lock here with the magnetic mount and it charges, so it just comes on and off. I know they advertise the actual locking system for off-road use. We've only ever had it fall off once, and we've done some pretty rough tracks over the year. Now we're both compatible with that. And then we've got the satellite phone in here. I think it's the InnoStat satellite phone, and that set us back about $1,400. Would I do it again if I had Starlink? Probably not. I would save the money for Starlink Mini, for half the price, and it still gets you the same capability of getting into contact with people. And by the time you set up the sat phone and the Starlink anyways, it's all pretty much the same time constraint.
And then we've got two 25-litre jerry cans from Kmart, but we connected them up with a water pump, which cost us about $200, which just made it nice and accessible for us to be able to just grab it out and be able to just switch on our water from the switch down here.
Moving to arguably one of the more expensive setups on anyone's vehicle, in our fiberglass canopy, we've currently got a King's console freezer, 15 litres, set us back about $200. The 200 iTech World Supercell lithium battery was $1,400. The iTech 160X Pro that we've now gotten back is $1,200. The 2000 watt inverter, $800. The DC charger, 50 amp, set us back about $500. The wireless switch assembly, $500. The solar blanket, $600. The solar panel that we've now got on the rooftop tent, $250. The other DC charger on the other side was $500. The induction cooker, only $80. And the gas cooker, $150. They're all figures without any intensive labour costs that are in there. Obviously, I've got little things done here and there, more of the technical parts that I don't quite understand, but I've probably saved a good $3,000 in 12 volt, 240 volt installation by just doing a lot of the work myself. On this side, excluding the Max Tracks, we spent about $300 on cheap recovery gear. It was all from King's, but really all the recovery gear on the markets surely aren't that different in materials. I mean, it's all same, so we didn't want to go premium with that. None of it's broken. We've had it for about 4 years. And then the only other things that we've got on the top here is the bucket, the shower tent, and the toilet. That probably set us back about $200 as well.
So our custom drawers that you can see behind me set us back about $500. I know you and one of your friends did do most of the work.
Yeah, one of my mates that's a carpenter did help me out one night. He did most of it, but we just put it down as rough parts for the wood, the locks, and the fridge slide. Cost us about $500 to $550.
And then as well, we have our Angle 80-litre fridge. Unfortunately, it's not a door-only fridge, and that set us back about 2.2K.
Yes, it was very expensive, $2,200. But we did at the time want to get, everyone knows that Angles are completely reliable. They have none of the gadgets, but we're aiming to get the most reliable. However, we are switching this one out very soon with the new iTech World 95-litre fridge, which is a dual zone.
I know, which will save me so much stress about meal planning.
Yeah, very keen to get into that one. And then the final thing was that fridge slide, Bunnings. I think they're about $80 to $100 or so. And that's basically all we spent on this. If you were to get that custom done at a fabrication place, I'm sure that'd set you back $3 or $4 grand. Right, so I now have the final figure sitting in front of me. I've got the modifications that are currently on the vehicle, and I'll tell you how much extra that we've spent on replacing things and changing things as the year's gone on and have broken. What would your guess be? And for the viewers, I'd love for this part for you to drop into the comments to tell us how many thousands of dollars you think that we have spent, and on your own vehicles, I'd love to know how much you guys have spent as well.
All right. My guess would be between, or do I have to give an exact number?
Just give a ballpark. Not including the price of the vehicle when we bought it.
Maybe 55?
No, so it's cost us $40,000 in modifications, and including the car, that would be $50,000. Keep in mind that we got that for $10,000.
Close.
That was pretty good,
I was
yeah.
close.
That's not bad. And then I added labour prices into that when I've removed my own work that I've done, and that probably cost me about $6,000 or $7,000 off that as well. So we're looking about $56,000, and then I've estimated we've spent another $8,500, including labour, on other ones as the years go on. You know, soft shell rooftop temp, taking that off. Old 12-volt system to lithium upgrade, like including those sort of systems in before it. So, you know, we're looking at that $70,000 mark to have a fully capable off-road four-wheel drive that has all of the comfort items, not just the little things that you might just take away on a weekend or something.
But also
like
all
that.
the safety features and things you do need when you're off-road driving, like the recovery points and winch as well. But now for the very exciting news.
Yes, this has been a big decision for us.
Now for the big announcement. I just wanted to start off by saying my pockets are extremely empty at the moment.
Our pockets, mine are bloody empty as well.
And the reasoning for that is we have just purchased a 300 Toyota
Land Cruiser. So 200 Toyota Land Cruiser 300 series. We've got the GXL model. We put our deposit down about 3 months ago and just been told that it should be here around the June-July period. Really exciting. So we're going to bring that into the channel, do a build series on it, showcase you what it's like off-road and everything to do with it. But the plan of what we're going to be doing with the D-Max and the 300 is going to be the big question. So starting off with, why are we getting rid of it? Like, what's the biggest reason?
So the biggest reason why we are changing is because we are looking at having children in the future, and we need to be able to have comfort for the kids in the back, but also room for them in the back. And currently, Dave the D-Max does not quite fit them in, and we are actually coming up for a expensive service on the car. So our, what's it called? Injectors?
Injectors. Yeah, so basically it's just getting to that 335,000, 340,000. We have to look at the longevity of it. So obviously this vehicle has been ridiculously reliable. Like every time I drive it, I'm nervous as to when something's going to break, and it never happens. But it's going to get to that point where we're going to have to put 10 or 15 grand into it. You know, it's going to need a engine rebuild, new turbo, and a couple other things. And it was just like, well, what are our aims for the next 12 to 18 months? And the thing was, we need to be able to tow. Still wanted to go on the off-road adventures, start a family, and it was quite funny, as Maddie said, we wanted the room in the back, so if we have children, Maddie can sit in the back whilst we keep touring, as well as tow off-road. And we got the camper trailer, and we towed it with this, and it did pretty well, but there's no way that we could go do the high country or go travel around Australia in soft sands.
Tow a boat.
So why the 300 series Land Cruiser? There are so many four-wheel drives in the market nowadays, dual cabs, all the big brands and everything like that, and went and checked them all out. And we basically went down to, if we were to get another dual cab, it'd be the D-Max. Hands down, reliable, one of the best prices out there, not too cheap, not too dear, and you know you've got the reliability behind it, and now it's got the rear lockers and a couple other features. Hands down, we'll go D-Max again. Nothing else could sell me that. But then we looked into the wagons, and the wagons was in the end between the Y62 Patrol. I know they're bringing out the Y63, but we want to buy it in the next 12 months, and that's going to be for another couple of years. And then the 300 series. So, in your eyes, why did you want the 300 over the Patrol?
A couple of reasons is to do with fuel consumption. So, I knew with the Nissan, it did chew up a lot more.
Yeah, we're seeing like figures of 18, 19 litres, you know.
Yeah, and especially when you're driving off-road and there's not many fuel stations and they already charge an arm and a leg.
Yeah, V8 petrol just sucks it.
Yeah, it was just something to definitely consider. I think.
One of the things I did like about the Patrol though, like it was nice on the inside, other than that really ugly brown.
They had a really weird leopard print looking.
Yeah, no good.
interior,
But it did come
off.
with more capability than the 300, right? It came with rear lockers, sounded really good, shitloads of power, and it did feel really good. But then the 300 really, really boasted out of it, despite.
Yeah, I think it was just a balance between something that would be great for longevity for us, sustainable.
Yeah, reliability. I mean, I don't know what reliability is like in a V8 petrol, but we know what the 6-cylinder diesel variants, or the 8-cylinder or the 4-cylinder diesel variants in Toyotas do have longevity. And I put Toyota and Isuzu in that same category of reliability when it comes to engine and driveline stuff. So that was a big tick for me.
I think as well, as we're getting older and we will have children in the car, comfort was just another thing as well. Like, I don't know, it won us over. It was a bit bougie, and we were like, oh, we've never really been in a car like this. You know, we've been having our aircon work sometimes, and we've had it disappear on us before. We've got, you know, everything kind of a bit more old-fashioned for us, and it's time to have something a bit more.
Yeah. And coming off those figures that we just showed you, what to do it up is we compared that to what it is to do up a Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
And everything is 50% more expensive. Lift kit, $6,000. Long range fuel tank, you know, double the price. Like everything is double the price to get it up and going. So that's going to be a really big consideration as to how quickly we can do up this vehicle. So we're going to have to really pay attention to what we need and what we don't need for the first 12 to 18 months or so. But really excited to bring onto the channel, show you guys. The D-Max will be sticking around. We'll be doing Kate York in it because I'm not taking a 300 series 1 month after getting it with no accessories.
Not yet.
On the old Telegraph track. I'm not quite into that yet. But very excited to keep everyone around. As I said, love D-Maxes. We'll definitely stick with the dual cab new D-Max. But we just want to take that step up. We're looking to 10 to 15 years, and we decided to go with 300. So I'm actually...
It'll be quite fun to do a build series on it.
Yeah.
And especially like there's not too many build series I've found
on the 300s.
300s.
Yeah, there's only a couple around, but I feel like a lot of... We go into
Big
that category.
companies are doing those.
Yeah, but we fit into the category now that people that drive 300 series are often the older generation because they are a more expensive vehicle. They get taken off road, don't get me wrong, but there's not as many YouTubers that have these vehicles because they buy, as we've already seen how much expensive it is to do up a four-wheel drive. They get the GU, GQ Patrols, they get the old 79 Land Cruisers, 80 series Land Cruisers and do them up. So it'll be a fresh start. If you guys want to follow along, anyone that's been following along just for the D-Max, stick around for the 300 because it'll be really interesting for you guys and us to see what it is compared to, you know, the D-Maxes and the dual cabs and
to
stuff
go along
like
the
that.
journey with it all. But
Yeah. Very exciting to be able to do it. So next episode, we'll catch you then. We're changing things up this year, so make sure you stick around. I'd love to see in the comments what vehicles that you have now and what vehicles that you would like if money wasn't a problem. Money is always a problem, but if you wanted to go out and buy your most favourite vehicle with your most favourite modifications, I'd love to see them in the comments below.